in this third video of mine, we will still be talking about the important agricultural system that are practiced around the world. And this one is called intensive subsistence agriculture. What kind of farming is this? So, intensive subsistence agriculture is a farming strategy in which farmers produce more food per area of land than other subsistence farming methods. This enables farmers to get the most out of each harvest. Farmers use their land to produce enough food to feed their families in traditional subsistence farming. Farmers, on the other hand, can produce even more food in this kind of agricultural farming. This allows them to produce enough food for their families while also having enough product for sale or exchange. This farming style is distinguished by a high degree of investment, mixed crop livestock systems, intercropping, and the limited use of modern technologies and purchase agricultural inputs. Intensive subsistence agriculture is common in many developing countries, where it employs more than 80% of the rural population. Crops are grown primarily for local consumption in this type of farming system. If there is an excess, it is sold on the market. This type of farming is mostly found in monsoon Asia's heavily populated areas. There are two kinds of intensive subsistence agriculture. Wet paddy dominates one, while crops such as sorghum, soybeans, sugarcane, maize, and vegetables dominates the other. Tongking Delta or Vietnam, Lower Minim or Thailand, Lower Irrawaddy or Myanmar, and the Ganga Brahmaputra Ditla, Eastern Coastal Plains are all areas of intensive subsistence farming in India. Intensive farming or intensive agriculture involves various types of agriculture with higher levels of input and output per unit of agricultural land area. That's according to Wikipedia. It is distinguished by a low fallow ratio, increased use of inputs such as capital and labor, and increased crop yields per unit land area. So, this kind of farming has also both disadvantages and advantages. So let's talk about first the advantages. The advantages of this kind of farming are it is less expensive. No large amounts of capital are required. Farmers do not pay for anything from the property to several of the tools. No labor hiring. The labor involved in these farms is provided by their families. There are no outside workers hired for crop production. A ready source of employment due to the simplicity of the tools that had been using. The methods can be taught to anyone very quickly. And there is no need for schooling to make the technique accessible to almost anyone. However, benefits are no free. There are some disadvantages such as a loss of biodiversity. While multiple crop types are planted together, there are typically some less plants that would naturally grow on the land. Soil fertility decreases is caused by the use of continuous cropping methods and a lack of fertilizers, which causes soil fertility to decrease over time. Poor soil quality also interferes with the biological process that normally maintains soil fertility, reducing the soil's ability to support plant growth, and increase crop disease and pests or insects. It has been demonstrated that as soil nutrient levels decline, the severity of soil-borne disease and pathogen increases. Seed-borne insects can also continue to spread because farmers rely on unofficial seed sources. Because farmers do not use a certified seed network, seed-borne disease and problems can quickly spread throughout the area, in which can lead to negative effect. In conclusion, This kind of farming is very crucial as through this they can able to feed their family even if you live or they live in such isolated places or area. Different cropping types are planted together in which somehow helps to preserve the biodiversity of the land. Intensive subsistence agriculture is common in many different developing countries where it employs more than 80% of the rural population. Intensive subsistence agriculture contributes significantly to the economies of these countries as well as to the reduction of food insecurity. And that would be all about the intensive subsistence farming.